Finding out that you have ADHD can be confusing. ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, can manifest itself in a number of ways. Behaviorally, what we see is fidgeting, difficulty organizing tasks, distractibility, forgetfulness, blurting out answers in class, and risk-taking.
According to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, also known as the DSM, Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, ADHD, is both a psychiatric and neurobehavioral disorder. This disorder develops during childhood, however, can continue into teenage and adult life. It is characterized by significant difficulties with inattention, hyperactivity, and/or impulsivity. Some features of inattention include trouble keeping attention on tasks, trouble organizing activities, and often easily distracted by extraneous stimuli. Some features of hyperactivity or impulsivity include trouble waiting one's turn, excessive talking, and often
I'm never inattentive enough.
These characteristics vary from child to child, and as such, not all children display all three aspects, nor do they have the same degree of each. For example, Damien, let's say we had ADHD. I may display signs of inattention and impulsivity while not being hyperactive, whereas in your case, you display signs of hyperactivity and impulsivity while not being inattentive.
But Dr. Jen, I feel so alone in this. Why am I the only one with ADHD?
Damien, you are not alone in this situation. ADHD is the most common childhood onset behavioral disorder.
Yes, I'm not that weird after
ADHD.
First of all, ADHD runs in families. If a parent has ADHD, a child has more than a 50% chance of having it. If an older sibling has it, a child has more than a 30%.
He was diagnosed with ADHD.
There are several genes involved. The most frequently investigated genes are involved in dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin. Whole genome studies have implicated genes involved in neural plasticity, synaptic excitability, and cell migration. It is also possible that environmental factors are responsible for your child's condition. Contrary to popular belief, ADHD is not caused by looking at too much TV, playing video games, a poor diet, or even bad parenting. Confirmed environmental influences include brain injury, stroke, and pregnancy, and birth complications, along with some toxins.
What do we know about ADHD and the brain? ADHD is linked to physical structural differences as well as chemical differences in the brain. Physically, children with ADHD have a smaller cortex, which is the part of the brain where the highest level processing takes place, including the control of thought and action. More specifically, processes in the frontal lobe are inhibited, including effects in controlling impulses, socialization, reasoning, and judgment. This is the reason ADHD patients tend to lose concentration, daydream, and have sudden aggressive outbursts. Biologically, a child with ADHD have lesser and thinner nerve tissues. This reduction in nerve tissue also contributes to the problem in controlling attention and impulse control. Hence, there is not one contributing factor, but these symptoms are all linked. The chemical difference involves the lower level of dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter in the brain. As one of many neurotransmitters, it is a chemical messenger responsible for the communication between nerve cells. The consequence of the lack of dopamine is an issue with cognitive processes such as concentration.
Created using Powtoon.
Biologically, a child with ADHD have lesser and thinner nerve tissues. This reduction in nerve tissue also contributes to the problem in controlling attention and impulse control. Hence, there is not one contributing factor, but these symptoms are all linked. The chemical difference involves the lower level of dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter in the brain. As one of many neurotransmitters, it is a chemical messenger responsible for the communication between nerve cells. The consequence of the lack of dopamine is an issue with cognitive processes such as concentration and judgment.
Am I ever going to get better?
Yes, there are treatments, medication, and/or cognitive behavioral therapy. If you choose to take medication, there is the option of either stimulants or non-stimulants. However, cognitive behavioral therapy teaches self-control through problem-solving strategies, cognitive modeling, self-monitoring, and self-evaluation.
Created using Powtoon.